welcome. Nice to start this day off, this morning off, by an excellent event. Welcome to China Day Online. We are here in the studio, and we are so glad that we have an excellent panel with us today. And the topic of the day is expand your business to China. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs with us as guests. Welcome to the live event. We are going to start this day and event by a welcome speech from no one less than the Chinese ambassador, Mr. Gui. And I will give you a warm welcome with that, and the stage is yours.
尊敬的瑞典企业家朋友们，大家上午好。
Friends from the business community, good morning.
瑞典政府认为中国对瑞典非常重要，中国市场具有巨大潜力。今天的中国日活动非常及时，各位企业家长期积极致力于推动中瑞友好合作和友好关系发展，我对此表示高度赞成。
The Swedish government believes that China is very important to Sweden. Chinese market has huge potential. So the China Day is held just at the right time. I highly appreciate friends from the business community for your commitment to China-Sweden practical cooperation and friendship over the years.
俗话说，一年之计在于春。现在北京到处春意盎然，一片生机勃勃，而斯德哥尔摩也踏入初春时节。虽然偶有寒流，但挡不住春天的步伐。就像中瑞两国关系，虽然偶有杂音，但是我们相信。 中瑞两国人民的友好合作是任何势力都阻挡不了的。
As the Chinese saying goes, a year's good work depends on a good start in spring. As spring comes, Beijing is now in a season of life and cheerfulness. Stockholm has also entered early spring. It may still get cold from time to time, but nothing can stop the coming of spring. Likewise, China-Sweden relations may encounter some disruptions, but the friendly cooperation between the two peoples cannot be stopped by any force.
那朋友们，我愿意借这个机会和大家分享几个关键词儿。
My friends, I would like to share you some key words.
那一是增长，受新冠肺炎疫情冲击，2020年世界经济出现深度衰退，贸易投资大幅萎缩，全球供应链循环受阻。在中国共产党的领导下，中国政府迅速控制住疫情，率先实现复工复产、复业复市。
So the first key word is growth. Last year, the COVID-19 pandemic put the world economy deep in recession, with investments plummeting and the global supply chain hindered. Under the strong leadership of the Communist Party of China, the Chinese government managed to get the situation under control in a short period of time, and China became the first to resume work and production.
中国政府 迅速控制住疫情，率先2020年中国 GDP 首次突破100万亿元人民币大关，折合14.73万亿美元，经济总量稳居世界第2，同比增长2.3%，是全球唯一实现经济正增长的主要经济体。
In 2020, China's GDP exceeded 100 trillion RMB for the first time, up 2.3%, putting China safely at the position of world's second largest economy and making itself the only major economy with a positive growth in 2020.
外贸规模创历史新高，成为全球唯一实现货物贸易正增长的主要经济体。得益于中国经济的强劲表现，中瑞双边贸易历史增长 达到178.43亿美元，同比增长0.91%。瑞典对华出口94.78亿美元，上升3.65%，连续多年保持对华顺差。
China's trade also hit a new record, making itself the only major economy with a positive growth in the trade in goods. Thanks to the strong performance of China's economy, trade between China and Sweden kept growing despite the pandemic, reaching USD 17.843 billion, up 0.91%. Sweden exports, goods and service worth USD 9.478 to China, up 3.65%, achieving another year of trade surplus with China.
100周年，中国能够取得这些成就的根本原因在于中国共产党的坚强领导，在于坚持走中国特色社会主义道路。今年是中国共产党成立100周年，在100年波澜壮阔的历史进程中，中国共产党仅仅依靠人命，彻底结束了旧中国搬殖民地搬封建的历史，彻底结束了旧中国一盘散沙的局面，彻底废除了列强强加给中国的不平等条约和一切特权，实现了中国从几千年封建专制统治向人民民主的伟大飞跃。
The second key word is 100th anniversary. The fact that China was able to achieve the progress is fundamentally enabled by the strong leadership of the CPC and the commitment to path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the founding of the CPC. In its 100 years of magnificent history, in close relying on the people, the CPC put an end to the history of semi-colonial and semi-feudal society in the country for good, lifted China out of disintegration and disunity, and abolished unfair treaties, realizing a great transformation from 1,000 years of feudal autocracy and people's democracy.
那么，新中国建立后，在中国共产党的领导下，中国人几十年时间走完了发达国家几百年走过的工业化历程，创造了人类经济增长史上规模最大、速度最快、持续时间最长的高速增长奇迹。
Since the founding of the People's Republic of China, the CPC led China to industrialize that took developed countries centuries to achieve, creating a miracle for an economic growth that has been the largest, fastest, and most long-lasting in human history.
今年2月，习近平主席在全国脱贫攻坚总结表彰大会上专言宣告，中国脱贫攻坚取得了全面胜利。现行标准下，9899万农村贫困人口全部脱贫，完成了消除绝对贫困的艰巨任务，提前10年完成联合国2030可持续发展议程减贫目标，创造了人类减贫史上的奇迹。事实一再证明，中国共产党的领导和中国特色社会主义制度是解决中国发展问题的关键。
At the gathering to mark China's role model in the poverty eradication in February, President Xi Jinping made a solemn announcement that China has achieved a complete victory in the fight against poverty, raising all 98.99 million rural residents under the current poverty line out of poverty. China has accomplished the arduous task of eliminating absolute poverty, meeting the poverty alleviation goal set in the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development 10 years ahead of schedule. A miracle in the history of the poverty reduction of humankind. Facts have proven once again that the key to China's development is the leadership of the CPC and the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics.
3是机遇，中国的发展带给世界机遇。今年3月初，全国两会通过了“十四五”规划和2035年远景目标纲要，强化了未来一个时期中国发展宏伟蓝图。
The third key word is opportunities. China's development provides opportunities for the world. The 14th five-year plan and the long-range objectives through the year 2035 adopted by the National People's Congress and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference provide a master plan for China's development for the next stage.
在“十四五”期间，中国将继续加强与世界各国的经济务实合作。中方将坚持共商共建共享原则，与各方携手共建“一带一路”，将加强国际宏观经济政策协调，维护多边贸易体制，推进基础设施互联互通，推动建设开放型世界经济。
During the 14th 5 years, China will continue to expand practical cooperation with countries around the world. China will continue to follow principles of extensive consultations, joint contributions, and shared benefits.
中国将加快数字领域国际合作，突出创新对全球发展的引领作用，将支持发展中国家提高自主发展潜力能力，推动解决全球发展适合问题。
China will speed up international cooperations in the digital arena and let innovation become a major propeller for global development. China will work to support developing countries' capacity of independent development to make global growth more balanced.
上述举措将为以后世界经济复苏注入强大正能量和稳定性，为包括欧盟国家在内的广大国际社会提供新一轮合作机遇和发展空间。
These measures will inject strong positive energy and stability into the post-pandemic recovery of world economy and provide a new round of cooperation opportunities and development space for the international community, including the EU.
四是互补，中瑞经济高度互补，合作潜力巨大。根据《瑞典日报》最新的统计，2020年进入中国市场的16家瑞典大企业，在华获利超过3200亿克朗。中国全面贯彻创新协调、绿色开放共享的新发展理念，而瑞典是最早提出可持续发展概念的国家。中瑞在绿色低碳、智慧城市、环境保护、医疗健康、健康医疗等领域合作前景广阔。
The fourth keyword is complementarity. The Chinese and Swedish economies are highly complementary with significant potential for cooperation. According to SVD's latest report, in 2020, 16 Swedish companies in China made a profit of over 320 billion kroner in China. China follows the new development version of pursuing innovative coordinated, green, open, and shared development. Likewise, Sweden was the first country to propose the notion of sustainability. There are promising prospects for two countries' cooperation in green economy, low carbon development, smart city, and health. China is committed to high quality development and works to meet the 1.4 billion Chinese people's expectation for a better life.
中国致力于高质量发展，不断满足14亿人民对美好生活的向往。“十四五”期间，中国4亿以上中等收入群体构成的超大规模市场和内需潜力，将进一步释放，为瑞典商界提供更大的潜在市场。
During the 14th 5 years, the potential of the supersized Chinese market, with over 400 million people in middle income group, will be further unleashed, providing an even greater market for the Swedish business community.
下面我请我们使馆金山山的韩孝东与大家交流。相信大家通过这次交流，一定会有所受益。我预祝中国日活动取得圆满成功。谢谢大家。
So next, let's welcome Mr. Han Xiaodong to meet us in a panel section, and let me include by wishing China Day a full success. Thank you.
谢谢 ，Thank you.
And welcome speech to us. I totally agree that one of the key words during a pandemic time has been innovation and growth in different and new ways. And we also agree that innovation power is one of the key success keywords and power skills we need to bring forward more global collaboration, but also growth and development. Our next speaker up is the chairman of Chinese Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Jason, and we are very interested to listen to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Maria. I'd like to share the screen now. Is that okay?
Yes, 1 second. I will just see if I can see your screen. No, I don't see it yet. Have you tried?
I'll try it again.
Yes, try one more time.
Try to share the screen.
Thank you. Now we see your screen. Thank you very much, Mr. Jason.
Just a moment. Yeah.
Great.
Yes. Your Excellency, Ambassador Gui Congyou, Distinguished Councillor of Commerce Han Xiaodong, dear Mr. Jonathan Kullman and Miss Maria Berghäll, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Jason Zhu, Chairman of Chinese Chamber of Commerce in Sweden. I'm honored to attend China Day on Land today, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce CCCS to all the friends. Since its establishment at the end of 2016, CCCS has been growing continuously thanks to the joint efforts of all of its members. It has expanded from 21 members at the beginning to 33 now, with a total investment of $3.6 billion US, creating jobs at the local nearly 17,000 in Sweden. Here are our former chairmen, and here are the vice chairmen of CCS now. Our members include state-owned global 500 companies like Bank of China, Air China, Minmetals, and China Telecom. Famous global private Chinese companies like Geely Automobile, Huawei Technology. We also have public listed known companies like People's Daily Online, ZTE, and active companies like Chemical Engineering and Rongtai Investment, and government agency Jiangsu office in Sweden. In addition, China Railway Tunnel Group, Grand Law Firm, and other members have been added. And our member enterprises cover industries such as finance, aviation, automobile, communications, chemical, energy conservation, and environmental protection, health and medicine, and other fields. We firmly believe that our team will continue to grow in the future as the Swedish and other Nordic markets become more attractive to Chinese investors. And here are the member lists of CCCS. You can see that. In order to further strengthen the understanding and interaction between the Chamber of Commerce's member units and promote cooperation between member units and local agencies and enterprises, The members of CCCS visited 3 members units in Karlskoga, Örebro, and Gothenburg. During these visits, the CCCS members met with the local Chamber of Commerce and government agencies and thereby broadened horizons and enhanced the communication and friendship between the parties. While serving our members and providing a platform to increase knowledge about Sweden, standardize business practices, and expand business, CCCS also actively participates in China-Sweden bilateral economic and trade activities and promotes cooperation and exchanges. Members have also visited the local government departments of Öland Island and Linköping, the Chamber of Commerce in northern Sweden, Gothenburg, Stockholm, and other local business associations. We have also conducted extensive communication with local investment promotion agencies and enterprises to exchange information, gain a deeper understanding, and expand the market. And I will show the activities from 2017 to 2019 of CCCS. These are the activities in 2017. And about the business cooperation of the Sino-Sweden, we would like to share some ideas with all the friends here. China has always adhered to the concept of equality and inclusivity, promoting harmonious cultural exchanges and strong communication, free of arrogance and prejudice between Eastern and Western civilizations. Looking ahead to the future, we believe that the trend towards a multipolar world and economic globalization is irreversible. Peace, cooperation, openness, inclusiveness, and innovation have become irresistible historical trends. The economies of China and Sweden are highly complementary. Sweden is a global leader in technology and innovation, and China has the strongest production capacity and the largest single market in the world. With Swedish technology and Chinese production, we believe that more and more excellent China-Sweden involved companies will benefit from the big Chinese market and the new market along the Belt and Road. The prospects for Sino-Sweden economic, trade, and investment cooperation will only become more and more promising. We welcome all friends present today to actively participate in the development process of China and Sweden so as to better grasp business opportunities and achieve success. Here are the web page and email address of CCCS. Welcome all the friends to contact us because our member enterprises, with the cooperation with our member enterprises, we can expand the business in China and in Sweden as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. It was very interesting. I hope that our guests learned a lot. I did. And thank you, Mr. Jason. And I hope to talk more to you when we have more questions from our participants from your speech. Thank you for now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it was very nice to see all the pictures and all the events pre-corona that you have been participant in, and also saw a picture from Almedalen 2019. So I hope that we can meet physically even in the future after the pandemic is over, to continue to talk about collaboration, innovation, growth, and what you actually can help Scandinavian entrepreneurs with. So it's very much thank you for now. So for all of you who are with us as guests today, my name is Maria, and I have been an entrepreneur for about 15 years now in different kind of branches and organizations. And I know a lot of Scandinavian and Europe startups and scale-ups, entrepreneurs and businesses. And my role in this startup and scale-up world, if you can say so, is to help people further in their process. And that's why I am here today, because I really like and inspire when entrepreneurs can find each other and make businesses grow even more, and to learn from one another, and also to bring help to expand more globally. And today we have the ultimate key question here is, how can an entrepreneur from Sweden or Scandinavian make the step more global and take on the Chinese market, and how can we also help from the other way? So this is what we actually want to get to talk about, and also see how it's working today and how we can make it even better in the future. To our help today as well, we have a panel list with different kind of people, and the first panel member of the day is Mr. Han, and he is here today to present a little bit more about the Chinese market and the economic. So warm welcome to Mr. Han.
Okay, thank you, Maria, and just follow you words. You know, my function, or my office function, is also trying to facilitate the bilateral economic relations. We have same role and we are ready to assist the Swedish companies to enter the Chinese market. Actually, I'm not prepared a speech, but I would rather answer some of the questions. But before that, I would like to share some of the information and the figures about China-Sweden bilateral economic cooperations. Just as Ambassador mentioned in his speech, that last year, although we have the impact of COVID-19, the pandemic, we still have the growth of bilateral trade. The Chinese import from Sweden was 9.4 billion, and meanwhile Chinese export to Sweden was 8.4 billion. It shows that Swedish products are still welcomed by the Chinese market and by the Chinese consumers. In the last 4 years, Sweden is in surplus status, and I think this is quite interesting. And you know, in the past 20 to 30 years, Chinese is always in surplus, but it has been changed. I think this is we would like to see more balanced trade between China and Sweden, and also in terms of two-way track investment. We have seen that due to this, the many countries and European countries and also China will have this preventional measures against the COVID-19. So this the business travels was influenced, and we have seen that the investment to China and to Sweden declined last year, but still we have $200 million Swedish investment to China, and also $500 million Chinese investment to Sweden. We have heard from the business Sweden that around 600 Swedish companies have investment in China.
I just heard from Gabriel this morning that 40% of Swedish companies are located, their business are located in Jiangsu, in the coast area of China. And also last year, we have a very nice discussion with Swedish Embassy in Beijing, Swedish Chamber of Commerce in China. I know, but the majority of Swedish companies, they are very confident about the Chinese economy, about the Chinese market. 70% of the Swedish companies, they will expanding their business in China. And also they are still, and also we still have some difficulties or some challenges, I should say. And I heard from my colleague from the Swedish Chamber of Commerce in Beijing that said that there's some regulations, import and export regulations, and also the recruiting the high-skilled laborers are the main challenge for the Swedish companies. But it's still they are very satisfied with their business. I just heard that in recent days we have an article on the Swedish newspaper Svenska Dagbladet that shows that many Swedish companies, they are making profit in China. I think this is quite good that many companies they're enlarging their investment, and also they have a very good performance, and also they're making money. I think this is very good showcase that we welcome more and more Swedish companies, in particular SMEs, to come and enter the Chinese market. Although there's many Swedish companies currently they are focused on coast area, but I strongly recommend them go to the western part, the central part, and also northeast part of China. There are more opportunities, more potentials. Because I heard this morning, Adam told me that I only have 5 minutes, but I have a lot of things can share with you, but I can inform you during the panel. Okay, thank you very much. So if you have any questions, so we can discuss later.
Thank you very much, Mr. Han. And I actually have a question right now for you. You were talking about you also looking for the SMEs companies, which kind of different kind. We have a lot of SMEs in Scandinavia and in Sweden, but is it especially branches of SMEs you're looking for? Is it like industry, green tech, education? Do you have any?
Yes, yes. No, I understand you. We know that Sweden is quite strong in innovation, and also there are a lot of strongholds in the Swedish economy. For instance, the biomedicine, automobile, ICT, for instance, and life science, and also environment protection technologies. Such industry sectors we are quite interested. So I have a very close contacts with some of the Swedish associations, and also Business Sweden, for instance, and also Street Care, for instance, and also Smart City Sweden. We know that there are a lot of opportunities, potentials for our cooperation. So we are targeting not only the bigger one. We have Ericsson, Volvo, Atlas Copco. They have a very good business in China, but
yes,
they're rather big. But we are trying to assist the small one because they have a lack of, for instance, capitals, information, and labors, but they need some help. So we are trying to help them to enter this the new market. China is big. You know that we have a 1.4 billion population. We have a large territory, and also it's rather complicated market for small and medium-sized companies. They need some help. We are working together with our Swedish friends, colleagues, Swedish Embassy in Beijing. We are working very closely to assist Swedish companies to entering this the Chinese market. This is what our rule.
Yeah, and that's very, very, very good and very interesting to hear. And you also said it that China is very big in compared to Sweden, and it's some different process to go from idea to market, of course, but if you are an SME, you have not really, maybe not worked as long as maybe ABB, Volvo, or Atlas Copco, but you were saying it's so big, the Chinese market. So how can, like, if you have one concrete example, like what is the first step for SMFs from Sweden to take? Like contact you, go to China maybe after pandemic. Do you have any like one example of this is one good thing to think about before you take the step?
Many companies, when they enter a new market, they need to have some feasibility studies. You should know that the rules, the regulations of the market, and also from the Business Sweden, from my office, they were ready to provide some the general information. Yeah. Before that, they have to have some knowledge about China, and also they need to have some kind of good partners for in China. They can providing some assistance to the SMEs, because it's, as I said, it's a complicated market. Yes, they need they definitely need some help. So I think this, the information, the knowledge about the market is quite important. And the second is the partnership, the good partnership. Sometimes we also receive some of the questions on the disputes, because they are you know, some of the partners, they have the funding from the website, but Great. They are not reliable. So we have received some of the questions, but to be honest, it's quite difficult for us to solve some of the case. But to identify a good partner, I think is also very important.
Yeah, I hear you are saying a good partner and great collaboration with a Chinese partner is a good first step to take as an SMF's entrepreneur. So that's very, very good. Thank you. It's a very, very good example and tips. So we're going to our next panel member, and it's a warm welcome to Mr. Zhang from Jiangsu Stockholm office. Hello.
Hello, Maria. Thank you for having me today. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here to take the opportunity to share the latest development of Jiangsu province. And okay, first of all, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, today I want to talk about make a brief introduction of Jiangsu province. And first of all, the geographical location of Jiangsu province. On the map, you can see China, and the red spot is Jiangsu. And we all know that Chinese government has put forward the initiative of One Belt and Road about years ago. And here you can see the Silk Road economic belt, and down here you can see the 21st century maritime Silk Road. The Belt and Road joined together in Jiangsu province, which give us a very strategic benefits of the location. And this advantage reflects in transportation is that in Jiangsu, we have 9 commercial airports. We have 78 domestic and 35 overseas destinations can be reached directly from Nanjing local international airport. Just from local, we have the direct flight to Helsinki. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the flight is suspended for the moment. But I believe after everything comes in control, it will be restored really quickly, And to Europe, we also from local we can fly directly to Frankfurt by Lufthansa, which also make it very easy for one to transfer ship to Sweden, to Stockholm. And if you travel in China, many people prefer the high-speed rail. We are very proud of that. And the Jiangsu province sits on the high-speed rail from Beijing to Shanghai. From the capital of Jiangsu province, that is Nanjing, if you go to Shanghai by high-speed rail, it only takes 1 hour. And it only takes 3.5 to Beijing. And in fact, we are also building up the we call it a 1 hour triangle of the city agglomeration in the Yangtze River Delta. That is Nanjing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou, the capital of Zhejiang province, which is the most developed and vibrant area of Eastern China. And if you want to take train to Europe, okay, you can have 4 choices. That is the China Rail Express departing from Suzhou, Nanjing, Wuxi, Xuzhou, and Lianyang. In this slide, I want to show you some basic facts of Jiangsu province. The land area is 100,000 square meters. It's about we can say Sweden is about 4.5 times of Jiangsu province. But when it comes to population, we have 18 million. Jiangsu is about 8 times of Sweden. So you in land area only about 1% of China, and we are not large in population in Chinese scale. But when it comes to economy, I should say we are quite big. And we are proud of that. Last year, provincial GDP exceeded 10 trillion RMB. That is around 12.5 trillion of Swedish kroner. It accounts for about 10% of the national total, ranking the 2nd place in China. And our GDP per capita, we are taking the 1st place in China among all the Chinese provinces for I believe more than 10 years. Last year, we exceeded 125,000 yuan of RMB. And according to the statistics, last year there are altogether 20 Chinese cities with the GDP per capita exceeded $20,000. And in Jiangsu, we have 6. That is Suzhou, Wuxi, Suzhou, Nanjing, Nantong, and Changzhou, and Yangzhou. Okay, we have taken more than a quarter. And if viewed as an economic entity, we are ranking 11th globally. And that is, we have moved forward three last year. Here I also enlisted the top 100 domestic counties. Some of you may wonder, okay, why the counties are listed here? Because the counties are the basic economic unit of China. Their development really reflects the trend of Chinese economic development. Among the top 100, we have 25 from Jiangsu province. And among the top 10, we have 7 from Jiangsu province. So you can say we are really strong, and we are proud of that. Our trade over the last 40 years, we have established the trade relationship with 234 countries and regions. Since the year of open and reform of 1978, the volume of international trade at that year was 430 million US dollars. But now we have already increased to 670 billion US dollars. You can see we have increased by thousands of times. And the import and the import and export of last year here I put it also in the Chinese yuan, that is 4.45 trillion yuan. So about the international investment from outside, and here I have given you some listed some figures. You can say 391 Fortune 500 have established their presence in Jiangsu. And last year, the paid-in FDI, foreign direct investment, reached 28.4 billion US dollars, ranking the first in China. And ever since the year of reform and opening up in 1978, we have altogether received 517 billion US dollars of FDI. Okay, that is really I should say quite impressive. And I also wide world. Last year, the contracted outbound investment reached 5.7 billion US dollars, ranking number 6 in China. And more than that, established 3 national level overseas economic trade cooperation zones, mainly in the developing countries, in 2 in Africa and 1 in South Asia. And we have also established 4 provincial level overseas industrial cluster. Both are setting very good examples of our cooperation with the outside world. And after the general introduction to our economic development and cooperation, and just now Mr. Han mentioned some figures of our cooperation. Here I want to reiterate the figures. Last year, our bilateral trade reached 4.8 billion US dollars and increased by 5.4, and it's around 1/4 of the national total. And here is the exports. I mean, from Jiangsu to Sweden, it's about 1.5 billion, and down here is the import from Sweden to Jiangsu. Okay, it's 2.5 billion US dollars. I should also point out that Sweden is one of the few countries that enjoys surplus from the trade with Jiangsu. It also reflects that Jiangsu market has a high demand for the high quality products from Sweden. That is to say, we have a really huge potential to expand our corp. The total volume reached to 2.3 billion of US dollars. Here I have enlisted some big companies, and okay, you can see that ABB, Ericsson, Epiroc, Atlas Copco, Sandvik and okay, AstraZeneca and okay, Husqvarna and Scania and these brands are all big names in Swedish economy. I also there are two companies I want to call your attention. That is first is AstraZeneca. This is the very first Swedish project in China. It was founded in the year 1982, landed in Wuxi of Jiangsu province. Last year, in fact, for the last 3 years, AstraZeneca has been the largest taxpayer in the foreign companies. Last year, they paid in tax more than 4 billion RMB. So you can see how prosperous they are. They are conducting their business in China. And we're also very proud that last year, despite the impact of COVID-19, Scania announced their investment in Nantong, Jiangsu province. They are setting up their first factory in China. They are investing more than 5 billion Swedish kroner in Jiangsu province, and yeah, that is despite the impact of the COVID-19, this project is really important for us, for both of us. I mean, for Jiangsu, for China, and for Sweden, And Jiangsu also made some investment in Sweden. By the end of last year, there are altogether 20 Jiangsu projects in Sweden. And the contracted investment is almost 100 million US dollars. Okay, that's all about the Jiangsu province, and I also want to mention a little bit about our office, the Jiangsu Provincial Economic and Trade Office in Sweden. We are the only official rep office among the Chinese provinces that established rep office in Nordic area in Sweden. With the help of our sister province, Östergötland, the office was established in the year 2006. We have been here in operation for 15 years. And our function is to just now Mr. Han mentioned the function of their office, and it's somewhat we are alike, but we are on the provincial level. Mr. Han, he is representing on the national level. We are on the provincial level. First,
Mr. Yang, I'm sorry to interrupt.
In Jiangsu, and we can also present and recommend
hello, I'm sorry
partners, not only in
Mr. Yang, do you hear me?
Also in the development zones and
do you hear me?
Locations.
Hello, do you hear me? Yes. We are actually, we have
about the business
time schedule that we
in Jiangsu province. And we also organize events and mutual trips for cooperation in the fields of commerce, technology, investment, and trade. And also we offer consultation and organization for companies for trade promotion. Yeah.
Ms. Zhen, do you hear me? You hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, great. I can still hear you, but I'm sorry to interrupt the presentation. We are on a time schedule, and
yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Great. So I just want to pause
I
the
can hear.
presentation. We are on a time schedule, and I just wanted to pause your presentation a little bit because we have actually a time slot in the program.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'm summing it up.
Oh no, it's okay. You don't need to sum it up right now because the information our participant has got from you, it's enough. So we actually want to make space so the participant
I'm summing up.
actually can maybe write own questions. So we want to have a time for the Q&A. So we want to have time left. So because we have maybe a more
that would be great. Yeah.
More specific question because ABB and for example Unilever, I saw Coca-Cola, and that is very big companies. But we are actually target more SMFs. So our SMFs actually can have time to SMEs to have time to come with their specific questions, how to go to your province and region. So thank you for now. We're going to pause that for for a bit, and for our guests who are still with us online. Now it's the time to start writing questions to us through and you can write in the chat, and we're going to pick the questions up when we're going to the Q&A part. But we need to make the time good as well, and we have our next entrepreneur and panel member, and it's a Swedish entrepreneur, and I want to give him a warm welcome into the studio. And we have Jonathan Kullman from Nordic Business House. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, Maria. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here.
It's fantastic to actually be in a studio and meeting people in person.
Yes. We can do like a hello, welcome.
Thank you.
So, Jonathan, it's very nice to have you here today in the studio, and we are of course very interesting from a Swedish entrepreneur's perspective. But before we go into that, we want to know what your business are doing.
Of course. So, as you mentioned, my name is Jonathan, and I run a Nordic digital marketing agency focusing on China. So what we do is that we are helping Nordic SME companies with their marketing and PR in the China market. So we're operating from our headquarters in Shanghai, and then we also have sales office all around the Nordics in Copenhagen, Stockholm, Helsinki, and Reykjavik in Iceland. So we are very much hands-on, acting as the operational marketing department for Nordic B2B and B2C companies that want to grow their business in China.
That's very good. So the team of the has actually being, taking a global step, how to reach the Chinese market, and also how to scale up in that way. How many years have you been doing this, and how many years have been helping companies?
My personal journey started around over 10 years ago. So my education or background is from traveling as many other people in the region of Greater China. And then also I went to study there as part of university, and then I moved there 2013-14, and then I started this business. So since 2014, I have been doing this kind of business of doing market entry of Nordic brands from a commercial perspective, and then focusing on the marketing and PR side.
Today in this event, we have heard about from the Chinese perspective and what they want and what you can do as an SME entrepreneur. But what do you think, with your experience, like how is it actually to make this step? What is the first what can we say possibilities, but also what is different?
Yeah. No, it's a very good question. And of course, we heard from a lot of other the panels that there are a lot of research needs to be done in the initial stage. And then, of course, actually going there and meeting people and experience the culture. But from a marketing and PR perspective, as I'm usually looking at the cases, what we see is usually trademark is super important. So even though you're thinking China is super far away from us, it could be plus 5 years or something, or it's even shorter, 1 to 3 years ahead. Then, of course, filing and making sure that you own your own trademark in China, super important. That's like step number 1. So that should everyone should do that, and that should be covering both the logo of the company, the English name, and also if you already have an idea of a Chinese name, otherwise someone could help you, support you with this, that you should file for. So all these 3 parts should be filed for when you file for your trademark in China, because there's a first to file principle in China, meaning that anyone could file for your trademark in China.
Okay.
And then later on, if you would then enter China and then turns out that you don't own the trademark, it could be very costly for you and very troublesome to take back the ownership of this trademark.
Okay, that's very, very good information. And I think that's also good information here in Sweden. It's very important that SMEs actually take the time to really do the research, but also make to know more about the IP and what they can do with that.
Definitely.
Yes. So if you have one more, like if it's something you really want to direct to our guest, like if you want to do this, think about this, do you have any special examples?
I would then just highlight the assumption that you can't take your brand and your product straight from off the shelf that you're maybe selling in the Nordics or Europe or in the North American market. If you want to go to China, then you need also to think about maybe if you need to do some local adaptation, both on maybe products sometimes, depending on if you're a consumer brand or B2B, of course, it's not that important, but otherwise localizing and adapting your marketing and branding for the Chinese market to fit who your Chinese customers are.
So you were talking about marketing and PR before, and what is the big differences between doing like marketing research, marketing and PR campaigns here in Sweden and Scandinavia, and when you should adapt and do it in China?
Yeah. I would say there are two parts. One is the more fundamental aspects, since there's in China there's Chinese firewall and they have their own ecosystem online, meaning that the average people that they don't use what we're in the West might be using in terms of Google, Facebook, Instagram, etc.
Yeah.
These people are using, and then the second part is, of course, due to the fact of this, there's a completely different consumer behavior online among the Chinese customers, and this, of course, brands from the Nordic SMEs that we're talking about today need to understand, and then, of course, once they have this understanding, they need to decide how they should position their own brand towards their customer, depending on when they would like to reach out to them in their decision-making process, from getting inspiration, awareness about that you're existing on the market with your product and offering, to the making actually the purchasing, and then, of course, after sales.
Yes. And one of those examples you were actually saying to us now, you were explaining that it's all the platforms are also different, and the behavior, digital behavior and online behavior is also different. But the application WeChat, for example, is that a tool that you need as an SME to get to know when you do PR and marketing, or just want to get to know the market even more? Or do you have another example?
No, definitely WeChat is for sure one of the biggest apps that you definitely need to have presence on for your brand. It doesn't matter if you're a B2B or B2C. Usually in the strategy, you need to have some kind of presence on WeChat. If you're a B2B company, when you're participating on fairs or other offline activities, WeChat is the main platform that you want to direct the visitors to, so you can keep this ongoing relationship with them. Afterwards, you have to have this face-to-face meeting.
Yes.
And the same is, of course, for consumer brands. So WeChat is definitely one important aspect. And then, of course, doing PR, like being exposed and having exposure in different kind of selected industries that is relevant for your business, is very cost efficient and very good activity to start doing, especially for B2B brands.
For example, if I'm an entrepreneur and I have an EdTech application, like I want to launch the business idea in China, in maybe a specific region and province. So if I go to you and I need help, and I say, okay, I have this business idea. What are the first steps you are providing help with then?
From our point of view, as an agency, we then, of course, we're making a lot of research to really understand what kind of product or services are you trying to offering to the Chinese market, and then to whom, because that is the most important part, looking into who is your potential customers, who is like the prioritized target audience, who's the supporting one. And then, of course, from our side, we can support and identify where can we localize these potential customers of yours. And once we know that, then we can look into how can we start communicating our offering to these potential customers of yours.
Yeah.
And that could be a combination of both online, preliminary, and then of course it can be supported by more traditional offline activities if you're a B2B company.
Last question then. We have talked about differences, but also possibilities and how to develop collaboration and innovation and how to take the step over to China. But we also have heard that you need to have like a partner, like a Chinese partner on place. Can you say something about that? Have you some experience about that?
That is for sure one of the most vital parts. So either you have financial resources by yourself to invest in setting up your own team and organization, but then of course it's super crucial, and the most difficult part is to recruit the right people. And that's why it's a very good option to instead finding a very strong strategic partner in China. But then of course you need to do your due diligence and meeting a lot of different kind of options when you're making your shortlist of potential business partners. So, and this means that you actually need to go to China a couple of times, meet the partners, meet the customers, etc. So definitely that is something you need to find. And for sales, of course, and also for marketing and also logistics. So
thank you,
solution partner.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. We have actually come up with a time in the program that we are going to take in some questions from our guests. You can see we're going to start the Q&A. And we have a first question, isn't that right? I'm looking at in the chat. I'm sorry, I need to see the screen. Stellan, is that right? First question in. We are interested to import medical supply and medical device to Europe, as well as registering and distribute medical device in China, and are looking for partners and collaborations for this. Stellan, is the question to a specific person, or is it a general question to all of our different kind of participants we have had here today?
I can give a very short answer for this question.
Yeah. Good.
So we have a Chamber of Commerce who is mainly for import and export of medical products. They have thousands of members. And I think we can recommend you to contact this Chamber of Commerce. Their office is located in Beijing, and I can give you some of the details, the contact details, and you can contact this chamber for their collaboration or for their information.
Thank you for that answer, and thank you for the question. We'll see if we have time for 2 more questions from our guests online. Is it someone else who has a direct question to someone?
Okay, what costs should an SME calculate with entering China?
What costs should
SME calculate with entering China?
SME calculate when they are entering China?
That's a $1 million question that I think everyone is looking for an answer to. So that is completely up to case by case, is my experience, and need to be looking into. Also now we don't understand from the question if it's a B2B company doing some within medtech or life science, or it's a consumer brand. So based on this limited input, of course, it's very difficult to give a upfront answer. So, but we could, of course, look into more specific on this case, but then we'll need more additional input. So please reach out to myself or some other of the experts in the panel, and then we can look into a more detailed ideas of the cost image, what you need to invest in your case.
That's very good. Is someone else want to answer in that question? Mr. Zhang, maybe?
Thank you. And yeah, okay, just as the other guest answered, I think it's really a case-by-case question. And it also depends on the size of your company. It's really difficult to give a specific answer to this quite general question. But I should say that if you register your company in China, the cost is is not large. Is quite low, but if you count other costs, just like if you want to recruit the right team or other things, yeah, it depends.
Hello, Madam. Yes, thank you so much. We have one more question from the technical booth, and one is actually about. We just wanna 1 second. I'm just gonna read it from start. It's actually about the size of China. China is a very large country, and the question is about where we have meet one region today, but we were talking about it as well, Jonathan. But where should you as an SME start? Which kind of part of China is best for start up the collaboration? We have heard some examples of it today, but if you have maybe 3 or 4 examples, it would be very good. Maybe Mr. Han would start.
Yes, I can very briefly inform you that the majority of Swedish investment goes to the coast area of China, to the Shanghai, to Jiangsu, to Zhejiang, to Guangdong. And also, according to the survey report last year, there are some Swedish companies are looking to the western part, to the Sichuan province. You know, we have a huge talent in China. And also, you know, every year we have around 7 to 8 million new graduate students from universities. It's a huge pool of talent. And also, I think it's an advantage for the coast area because they are more developed. But if I recommend or suggest to the SMEs, I will rather say that the northeast part of China and also the central and the western part, they have more potentials, more opportunity because they will have some more provincial preferential policies, and also they are welcoming foreign investment. For instance, Hubei province, they have established a kind of mechanisms event during the CIE, China International Import Expo. This expo was held in Shanghai every year in November, and during this expo, they organized this kind of seminar or summit to inform the Nordic countries about the Hubei province. They are rather eager to collaborate with the Nordic countries. I think Hubei could be one potential province for the Swedish SMEs. And also, you know, China, we have this new foreign investment law, which take in fact last year. And also for the foreign investors, we have this pre-establishment national treatment plus the negative list. During last year, the latest version of this negative list reduced the item from 40 to 33. That means that we reduced the obstacles or the barriers, and also will be more open to the foreign investors. I think it's quite good that we have seen that many Swedish SMEs are very interested in China, but they do need some assistance from my office, from the Swedish embassies, from Swedish agencies, and the branding, as Jonathan you mentioned, I think it's quite right. And you know, we have for the importers or exporters, we have the CIE, we have a Canton Fair, and also investment. We also have a Xiamen Investment Fair. So it's a lot of platform for Swedish and Chinese company to meet each other. Although it's due to this pandemic, due to COVID-19, online event has become kind of a new normal. But I think it's also good that we have a very close cooperation with Smart City Sweden, with IVL, with Sweden-China Trade Council. We organize this Smart City conference every year. Last year, we have around 500 participants. So I think we have a lot of mechanism or platform to assist the companies.
Thanks. Thank you. Now for the last question, and here we want like a short questions from all of our three panelist members. So we're going to start with Jonathan, and the last question is actually, if I am an SME entrepreneur, where do I go? Who is the person I contact?
I think you should definitely reach out to some of the other panel members that are participating today. And of course, there are some other, of course, Business Sweden is always a good state-funded organizations to reach out to. And of course, if you're more interested into details when it comes to marketing and PR, more than welcome to contact myself or MBH. And what we do for brands pro bono, free of charge, is doing research of the brands, like saying this is how it looks now for you today in the China market, and this is top level ideas what you could do if you would like to look into this in more details.
Very good.
That I would say.
Thank you. And Mr. Zhang, what do you think?
Of course, if you want to establish your business in China, you are very welcome to contact me. And just in my introduction, we have attracted more than 40% of Swedish investment in China. We done that. Okay, we have been successful for a reason. You can always come to me, and yeah, I'm very glad to give you my help.
Thank you. And last one, Mr. Han, what do you say?
Yes, at early stage, so you can come to me. Our service is free of charge.
Great, thank you so much. So this is a great finish of this event. So now you know that you can get help, you can start up a collaboration, you can find your way and start to taking steps to the Chinese market. And Jonathan, what do you say if you want to have this last word of the event?
Then I would say seize the opportunity, and it's never going to be easier or cheaper to enter the Chinese market than it is today.
Great. For that, we say thank you so much to all our guests and all the panelists and all the welcome speakers. And next China Day is, one second, about a month, we will have a next online China Day. So keep in touch, see when the information is coming up on social media, and you're also going to get an invite, of course. But thank you so much for today.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.